I, 27-year-old male, and my girlfriend, 31-year-old female, have been together for almost 2 years. We have always gotten along great, and everyone always says we're perfect for each other. Last May, she informed me she was getting a settlement check on her birthday for an accident that happened when she was a kid. She disclosed that it was almost $60,000. She always wanted to be a tattoo artist, so she decided she was going to quit her job and do tattoos full-time. I took a job closer to her. Unintentionally, it was just roughly $30,000 more a year, so it was a good job. To save on gas and not drive an hour to work, when my lease ran up, I moved in with her in her apartment. She only had a few months left on her lease, so in October we leased a house together. Every time we speak about finances, she always promises she'll have her portion paid. I make good money, but I don't make support someone else's dreams, a household, and my own dreams kind of money. I never second-guessed or questioned anything. She has paid a somewhat fair portion. Rent was 50/50ths, but I pay for all of the utilities and other stuff. Groceries are hit or miss. I'd say 75% of the time she'd buy groceries. But her and I have different priorities when it comes to where we shop. I am an Aldi's Save-A-Lot shopper, and she's a Giant Eagle Trader Joe's shopper. Her not working, she usually beats me to the grocery shopping. This is important. This will come up again later. I have always lived within my means and cheaply. I was able to survive in this economy with a take-home of $32,000 before her and I met. I have nice things, but I don't overdo it. Over the course of our relationship, I have worked my tail off, whether it be side jobs or making career changes. I now make almost $50,000 more a year than when we met. I am very humble and thankful for what I make and what I am able to do, but I'm still doing side hustles just to make some extra cash flow. All she does is tattoos. It's been almost a year, and she is doing really well tattoo-wise. But business-wise, she is not treating it like a business at all. It's more of a hobby that makes a couple extra bucks here and there. I am an operations manager, so I try and give her business tips and advice when she asks. She doesn't do anything I suggest. Last month, I started to see some things that are off. She kept getting phone calls from random numbers and noticed some behavioral cues that were off. I was worried about her and her mental health. She has no friends at all and only hangs out with her mom and stays at the house most of the time. So the only social interaction she has is with me or some of her family. I have a lot of friends and I am a very social person. I love to network. I asked her what was going on and asked her why she was getting phone calls. I had a hunch it was debt collectors. Turns out my hunch was right. She maxed out her credit cards. I told her I was concerned about her well-being and asked her where she was at money-wise. She turned it around to me being the bad guy for having concerns and promised me 50 times her portion would be paid, still pissed off at me and trying to gaslight me into it being my problem. I don't put up with that. Fast forward to last week, she tells me we need to talk. I'm making dinner and ask her about it. She tries to beat around the bush. I was upfront and told her, we are a couple and need to talk about it no matter how uncomfortable it makes us feel. She tries to beat around it still by nonchalantly asking me to pay this month's bills, in total of $2,500. I then inform her what the amount was and ask her, how did we get into this situation? Only asking so we can come to a resolution. She kept using her spending money on groceries as an excuse. She has bought some stuff for the house, but most of it was stuff for her, and she did buy a washer and dryer. She wanted a $2,500 washer-dryer set. I did not. I'm pretty mechanically inclined, and I was more than happy to get a $500 washer-dryer set off of the marketplace. She refused, so I gave her $500 for her $2,500 washer-dryer set. I just thought it was a stupid purchase to spend that kind of money. The whole conversation turned into a competition. Everything she said was, I this and I that. And with me, it's we this and we that. As we are a team, and it should not be a competition. I realized where I stand when she tried tallying points on what she has paid for, completely ignoring all I do and pay for. She stormed off and tried to gaslight me yet again, still not falling for it. I was firm and told her to stop gaslighting, turning her situation into my problem or trying to say, it's my fault. We ended up apologizing and trying to talk it out. A few days go by and it's eating me away. Thoughts like, is she really this financially responsible? She refuses to get a full-time job and wants to do tattoos on the side. She wants tattooing to be her full-time thing. I ask her how the job hunt is going and tell her it's been eating me up. Turns into the same conversation. I never received an apology for her being irresponsible. All I wanted was her to air out her own solutions. But instead, I got nothing but excuses. She then tries comparing her irresponsibility to me getting laid off from my job or her getting sick. To me, that is apples to oranges. One is quitting your job and blowing $60,000 in less than a year, and the other are things that you cannot control. I love her and care about her, but I feel disrespected. I intentionally did not talk to her for a few days, and honestly don't think we can overcome this. And to be frank, I'm not going to feel guilty or take responsibility for things that I didn't do. I have goals and ambitions and honestly don't need someone to drag me down. It takes a lot for me to get stressed and anxious, and I want to rip the Band-Aid off, so I don't stress myself out. Obviously, I'm not perfect, and of course, I have made my fair share of mistakes, but I really don't think they compare at all. I wonder what someone else will do in my situation. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. It's not that she is financially irresponsible. It's that she is financially irresponsible and is willing to attack you to try to make you fix it. Nope, no, never, not, none, nien, ne, anio, ie, and nayo. I would offer her one last out. Sit her down and ask her to listen and not respond immediately. Tell her she did this and she can either get very honest real fast, and the two of you can work together to find a solution she can perform. One you can help with, but will not be the main factor, and if she doesn't want to admit that and do that, then you will just begin making other life plans on your own. Warn her the minute she begins blaming you that you will just get up and walk away. Comment 2. Okay, this is not your problem to fix. I would move out. If she gets her life together, good. If not, you're removed from the mess. She's too old to be having these kinds of issues and just straight up not going to work. As in, if she's still like this, then when will she change? There's plenty of other fish in the sea, ones who won't drain you. If she wants to do tattoos full-time, great. But has she even undergone the necessary steps to do this legally? Has she apprenticed anywhere? Sounds like she's perfectly fine with you picking up the slack while she free falls and has a great time. And getting into credit card debt too. Also, sorry for this, but it's spelled nonchalantly. Now, for the update. Thanks for sticking around. A lot has happened since the last post. So, the other day, I came home to find her sitting at the kitchen table, papers scattered everywhere. She looked up at me, eyes red, and I knew something big was coming. Turns out, she hadn't just maxed out her credit cards. She'd taken out a loan against the house, our house, the one we leased together. She forged my signature, saying it was the only way to keep her tattoo business afloat. I was floored. Betrayed doesn't even begin to cover it. I should have seen it coming. The signs were there. But love has a funny way of blinding you to the truth. I was angry, sure, but more than that, I was hurt. How could she do this to us? To me? I thought we were a team, but teams don't keep secrets like this. She pleaded with me and said it was all for our future, that her business would take off any day now and she'd pay it all back. I wanted to believe her, I really did. But then the next blow came. She confessed that the loan wasn't just for the business. She'd been helping her mom out with money too. Her mom, who I thought was well off, was apparently deep in debt. It was like a soap opera, except it was my life unraveling before my eyes. I didn't know what to do. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of lies and debt. I took a walk to clear my head, and that's when I ran into an old friend from high school. He was doing well for himself, a financial advisor now. We got to talking, and I spilled everything. He offered to help, said he could get us on a debt management plan, maybe even find a way to get that loan reversed since it was fraud. It sounded like a lifeline. I went back and told her about the plan. She was hesitant, didn't want anyone else involved in our mess, but I insisted. This was beyond us now. We needed professional help. She finally agreed, and my friend got to work on our case. Things were looking up, or so I thought. I came home early one day to surprise her, and that's when I found her in the living room, crying. She'd been served with papers. Her mom was suing her. She'd told her mom about the loan, And instead of being grateful for the help, her mom saw an opportunity. She claimed my girlfriend had promised to pay off all her debts and was now backing out of the deal. I was stunned. Her own mother suing her? It was like a bad dream. I tried to comfort her, but she pushed me away. Said she needed to figure this out on her own. I didn't understand. We were supposed to be in this together, but she was shutting me out. And then, in the midst of all this chaos, I made the wrong choice. I told her I'd handle it. I'd talk to her mom, sort everything out. I thought I was being the hero, the good boyfriend stepping up to save the day. But I wasn't. I was just a guy who couldn't see that. Sometimes you can't fix everything. I met with her mom, and it was a disaster. Her mom was furious, said I had no right to interfere. She threatened to drag us both through the mud if we didn't pay up. I left feeling defeated, realizing I'd only made things worse. Now I'm sitting here, wondering how it all went so wrong. I thought I was doing the right thing, but all I did was add fuel to the fire. And the worst part? I still don't know if we can fix this, or if it's even worth trying. Thanks for reading. Thanks. Aita for ending a friendship. After my best friend wrecked a marriage and tried to ruin mine, my best friend has a thing for married older women. Over the years, he has had surprising success in this area. It started when he was 18 and slept with a married 30-year-old woman with a kid. They were both waiters at a restaurant, and after months of flirting, she slept with him. In the 7 years since, there have been 12 of them, all married or engaged, with ages ranging from 30 to 52. In the beginning, I thought the whole thing was funny, but as the years have gone on, I have grown disgusted by this behavior. If we are at a bar and he sees a bachelorette party, he is hitting on the bride-to-be. He coaches his nephew's little league team just to meet the moms. He's had to leave 3 different jobs because he was sleeping with married coworkers. And the husbands found out, leading to confrontations while he was on the job. The last straw for me was last week. I recently got engaged, and my fiance's family threw us an engagement party. It wasn't a surprise, so my fiance and I both invited who we wanted. And one of the people I wanted there was one of my former managers at work. Let's call him Tom. I am a CPA at a big firm, and Tom was really a mentor to me when I started. He left to work in industry, but we kept in touch and are still close. Tom is 40 and just the nicest guy you will ever meet. So he and his wife, female 38, come to our engagement party. I had never met his wife before. She is beautiful, by the way. And at one point during the party, I see my friend talking to Tom's wife while Tom took a phone call. I immediately go over and interrupt the conversation and pull my friend aside and tell him to not even think about it. My friend says he wasn't, which was nonsense. But I thought he took my warning seriously. I was wrong. A few weeks later, Tom calls me and tells me that his wife had been acting strange since the engagement party. And he went through her phone and found text messages with another guy. The texts included nudes exchanged on both sides, and it was very clear that they had met up for intimacy. Tom had confronted his wife the night before, and of course, it was my friend who she'd slept with. Tom was devastated, crying on the phone. He wasn't even angry. He just wanted to know why she did it and was asking me to talk to my friend to get some more details. I called my friend right after I got off the phone with Tom and exploded on him, basically ending our 20-year friendship. It's been a week and my friend hasn't stopped apologizing. Other than his despicable behavior with married women, he has been a good friend to me. We have been like brothers since kindergarten. It hurts to throw away someone who has been such a big part of your life, but I just can't be a party to this anymore. I'm making the right decision, right? Edit. I do want to add that aside from my friend's bad morals with married women, he has been a really good friend to me over the years. If I needed anything, he was the first one there. He's never slept with any of the girls I've dated and never tried. A lot of people are also saying that my fiancé would be next, but that is ignoring the fact that my fiancé would never cheat on me. A cheater has a personality defect. My friend clearly has one, but so do the women that cheat on their husbands. They are all inherently narcissistic and care only about their personal gratification. My friend hit on my fiancé before we met, and she shot him down abruptly then. I'm not worried about her, but I am sick over Tom, and I do bear responsibility for what happened. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. He's done it for years, and you let it slide because it's never been close to anyone you've been involved with. Now it hits close to home, and it's a bit too uncomfortable? I definitely wonder about the odds of him trying to do this to you as well. Regardless of him being previously rejected, the dude has an issue that's deep-seated and he needs therapy for. So it isn't that far a stretch to see it take a turn and take a swipe at yours. Comment 2. Honestly, you're a fool. You're cool with him participating and disrespecting other people's marriages and relationships, but you draw the line at your own. You're worse than he is because you're condoning the behavior he exhibits. You two deserve each other, and your fiancé deserves someone that has a moral backbone to stand on. You didn't care about what your friend was doing until he crossed your boundary. Leave me alone. Now, for the update. Thanks for sticking around for this update. So, after I cut ties with my so-called friend, things got even messier. Tom's wife, let's call her Sarah, she showed up at my office unannounced. She was a mess, tears and mascara running down her face, begging me to help her fix her marriage. I was shocked, to say the least. I mean, I'm no marriage counselor, but there she was in my office, pleading for my advice. I told her there wasn't much I could do, but she wouldn't leave. She said she felt trapped in her life, that my friend had promised her excitement, something different from the routine. I couldn't believe it. She was blaming her affair on being bored? I was angry, but I also felt sorry for Tom. He didn't deserve any of this. Then, as if things couldn't get worse, my fiancé started getting anonymous texts. Someone was trying to sabotage our relationship, sending lies about me cheating. It didn't take long to figure out it was my ex-friend. He was lashing out, trying to ruin my happiness because I had called him out. It was low, even for him. I confronted him and it got heated. In the heat of the moment, he admitted he was the one sending the texts. He said he was sorry, that he was just hurt and didn't know how to deal with it. I was furious, but I also saw a man who had hit rock bottom. He was losing everything, his friends, his reputation, and he knew it. I didn't forgive him, not really, but I told him to get help. He agreed and said he would go to therapy, try to figure out why he did these things. I didn't do it for him, though. I did it for Tom, for Sarah, for all the people he hurt. He needed to face his actions, and maybe, just maybe, he could change. My fiancé and I worked through the mess. It wasn't easy, but we got past it. We knew what we had was real, and no amount of lies could change that. It was a tough week, one that tested me in ways I never expected. But in the end, I realized that sometimes people do things that seem unforgivable, but they're just lost, desperate for something to hold on to. It doesn't excuse their actions, but it does make them human. Thanks for reading. Aita for considering an annulment. After my brother-in-law proposed at my wedding reception, I married my sweet husband Liam last Saturday. It was perfect, except for one major hiccup during the reception. Liam has an older brother, Ben, and they're very close, so it was no surprise when Liam asked Ben to be his best man. While I like most of my new in-laws, Ben has always rubbed me the wrong way with his behavior. He would crack all of these jokes that aren't really funny and tries way too hard to be the cool and popular guy. Think Screech from Saved by the Bell, only 10 times more annoying. To be honest, I feel somewhat sorry for Ben. Liam was diagnosed with high-functioning autism when he and Ben were kids. As a result, their parents lavished more time and attention on Liam. This led to Ben being emotionally neglected, and as a result, he acted out big time in their teens. He got into trouble, and this led to their parents swinging the pendulum in the opposite direction, lavishing attention on Ben. Liam kept his head down and didn't say anything. To this day, their parents are more likely to side with Ben than Liam. Liam is a sweet guy, as I mentioned. Unfortunately, he is a bit of a people pleaser and doesn't really understand social etiquette and cues very well. It has caused some problems, but I don't regret knowing him or even marrying him. 4 weeks ago, Liam and I were having dinner with his parents and Ben. Everything was fun, and we were all talking about plans outside the wedding. That's when Ben revealed that he had plans to ask his girlfriend of 5 years, Melody, to marry him. Of course, we were all excited and asked about his plans for the proposal. That's when Ben turned to Liam and said, "I was hoping to do it at the reception." I laughed nervously, knowing his tendency to make bad jokes, and told him, "You do that and my brothers will throw you out of the venue." But Ben got offended that I laughed, and I realized he was being serious. Instead of asking me what I thought, which he's pretty good about doing, Liam said, "Of course you can. Melody will love it." I touched Liam's arm and said, "We'll talk about it later." He didn't understand why I was so upset. I just wanted to get out of there, as my mother-in-law and father-in-law were too busy congratulating Ben and wouldn't be able to tell Liam why it was a bad idea. Liam and I moved to a different room, and I explained to him about how another person proposing or making a major announcement was in bad taste as it takes away from the bride and groom. Liam nodded, crestfallen. Feeling sorry for him, I said, "How about this? We organize a party with Ben for him to propose to Melody at. It would be far more memorable." Liam liked the idea, and we both went out. I told Ben that we were willing to help organize a special party so he can propose to Melody there. But he was not to propose at our wedding. Ben nodded, and I thought that was the end of that. Saturday rolls around, and the day goes off without a hitch. We get everything done, and it's time for the reception. Ben, as the best man, has a speech prepared for us. It was full of bad jokes and weird attempts at puns, but it was overall very nice. Part of Ben's speech was to move around the tables, which should have been a red flag, but I decided not to say anything at the end of the speech. Ben stopped at Melody and proposed. I was so mad that I stormed out. Liam and my mom came to comfort me. Liam apologized over and over, saying, "They told me it'd be fine. They told me it'd be fine." I was just done at that point. Mom offered to drive me home. Liam kept begging for forgiveness, but I told him, "Don't call me. I'll call you," and left. Needless to say, Liam and I haven't seen each other since. My side of the family is angry at Liam and his family. His family, on the other hand, is congratulating Ben and Melody. Most of their Facebook feed is pictures of Ben's proposal. I was prepared to file for annulment and move on. That's until Liam sent me an email. I learned that Ben and their parents applied the pressure over and over on Liam, until he finally caved the night before the wedding. I asked him why he didn't come to me, and he said, "You were so stressed and I didn't want to worry you." Liam concluded with, "I want another chance. Please give me another chance." Now I'm really torn. I don't like that Liam went behind my back thanks to family pressure. That's not a good sign for a marriage. On the other hand, I still love him. And since he's a horrible liar, I know he's telling the truth. I still haven't made up my mind about what I want to do. Is our marriage salvageable? Can we rebuild? Liam is genuine, but can I persuade him that a family should never do that to a member? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I would move forward with the annulment, if possible. He betrayed you and then tried to spin it like he was doing you a favor. He's proven himself a weak-willed, cowardly man who will put his biological family over his chosen family. And his family members are nasty pieces of work for pulling this. He's not a horrible liar. He lied to you when he told you that he respected your wishes to not have a proposal at your wedding. He looked into your eyes every day for a month, knowing what was going to happen and how you didn't want it, and didn't say a word. Comment 2. The fact that he said, "They told me it'd be fine," it says it all. If you stay, you would be spending your life with a puppet, not an actual man. The fact that his family is busy congratulating Ben when Liam's marriage is imploding says a lot about how he lets them treat him, and by extension, how they will always treat you. Get the annulment and run. He's not worth it. He will never stand up for you and will always pick his family over you. Now, for the update, thank you for tuning in again. So, after that disaster at the wedding, things just spiraled. Liam's family, they're all over social media, celebrating Ben's engagement, like it's the event of the year. And there I am, scrolling through my feed, feeling like I'm the only one who sees how messed up this is. Liam's mom called me, all sweet and apologetic, but I could tell she didn't really get it. She said, "Honey, it's just one of those things that happen at weddings." As if it's normal for your brother-in-law to hijack your big day. I wanted to scream at her, but I just hung up. Meanwhile, my family is fuming. My dad's old school, and he's all about respect. He told me straight up, "You deserve better than this." And my brothers, they're ready to start a war over this. It's like my family against his, and I'm caught in the middle. But here's the thing. Liam's been trying so hard to make it right. He's been sending me these long emails, pouring his heart out. He's not good with words, but I can tell he's sincere. He's been showing up at my work with flowers, trying to talk to me, but I've been avoiding him. I just can't deal with it right now. Then 2 days ago, something happened that just threw me for a loop. Ben's girlfriend, Melody, she reached out to me. We met up at this little coffee shop, and she was a mess. Turns out, she said yes to Ben because she felt pressured with everyone watching. She told me she's been thinking about it, and she's not ready to marry Ben. She's been feeling trapped, and she's scared of how Ben and his family might react if she backs out now. I felt for her, I really did. It's like we're both stuck in this crazy family drama. We talked for hours, and it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders, knowing I'm not the only one who thinks this whole situation is wrong. Now here's where it gets even more complicated. Yesterday, Liam showed up at my place, unannounced. He was a wreck, bags under his eyes, like he hadn't slept in days. He begged me to talk to him just for a few minutes. So I let him in. He told me he's been talking to a therapist about everything, about how he's always been the one to bend over backward for his family, about how he's been struggling to stand up for himself. And he said something that hit me hard. He said, "I've always been the one to smooth things over, to keep the peace. But I realize now I can't do that at the expense of our marriage." We talked for hours, and it was raw and honest. He admitted he should have come to me the night before the wedding, that he should have stood up to his family, and he made a promise right then and there that he'd never let his family come between us again. So I'm sitting here, trying to figure out what to do. My family's telling me to walk away, that Liam's always going to be this way. But I see this man who's willing to change, who's taking steps to be better. It's not going to be easy, but maybe, just maybe, we can get through this. I've decided to give Liam a chance, not because of pressure, not because I feel sorry for him, but because I believe in the man he's trying to become. We're going to start with counseling together. It's going to be a long road, but I think we can make it. We're going to set boundaries with his family, and we're going to work on communication, on being a team. It's not going to be a fairy tale, but it's real life. And in real life, you fight for what's worth it. Liam's worth it. Thank you for reading. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.